Good morning everyone. Today in this video we will fight against the atmos character of our world around us, and today we will talk about history. This time I would like to mention the phenomenon, because it was the phenomenon almost like the phenomenon out of Bible. I mean the duel between the Goliath, the giant, and David, future king of Jewish people, Israelites, if we use the nomenclature from Bible. And analogical situation happened twice later. First 1881, first war between Boers and English, when Boers actually won, and later the Great Boer War between entire English Empire, huge part of its military reserves, and Boer nation. Boer nation, I understand the Boers as white people belonging to the nation called Boers, or some people call them Afrikaners, but this is true, but not fully. But okay, this is for later. And one needs to mention that also some black people were cohabitating and collaborating with Boers, living with them as servants or helpers. That's why later, when I mention the concentration camps, British unfortunately established full-scale concentration camps machinery. Germans had very good teachers for Boer people, civilians, just to brutally force the Boer partisans to stop fighting against them, because the British anti-guerrilla tactics and firing blockhouses didn't help in suppressing Boer moves of and actions of Boer partisans who knew their country very, very well. Very interesting fact is that of course, Boers in this story act as King David, to be King David, and British act as giant Goliath. Actually, one needs to remember, now let's come back to these atrocities that British people British government and soldiers committed on Boer civilians, plus black population of South Africa that was regarded by British as non-loyal to them but loyal to Boers. It's not true that in these concentration camps only Boer civilians were prosecuted and many of them died. Also blacks who were loyal to them. And one needs to remember that these were first full-scale working operational concentration camps. It was actually improvement of the Spanish invention from the 1890s on Cuba, where Spanish were trying to suppress Cuban revolt, so they established a sort of prisoners camps that were having a goal to break the morals of partisans fighting in Cuban mountains against them, but they were not so well organized and focused on extermination as British one. Of course, later Germany in 30s and 40s of 20th century and Japanese achieved the perfection in the organization of these camps of death, unfortunately for millions. But as you see, first on Cuba, this is a good lesson history, first attempts of creating concentration camps is by Spanish against Cuban rebels, and the second one is fully operational and fully successful, in quotation, organized about 6-7 years later, so 1900, 1901, 1902, by British in South Africa against Boers and black people who were loyal to them. And there are many good books in English, in German, and even in Polish about Boer Wars. I think my spectators easily can guess which side of this conflict, David or Goliath, is closer to my heart. Of course, I support Boer sides because it was fight for independence and freedom and self-ruling of the nation. That's why I emphasize also British atrocities and connect them with past and also with previous and later historical events. And one should remember that these nations, which are telling to other nations, their previous colonies or the nations in Central and East Europe, you are not tolerant, you don't rule yourself properly, you don't respect minorities. We should remember and always put the finger into their eyes like this, telling, but you started everything and you were tormenting your own subjects, your own people, and you just developed the idea, which was later hanged over by Germans and applied into their reality and led to the perfection also by Japanese. So they shouldn't teach other nations tolerance and respect to the other people, and they shouldn't feel morally superior with respect to others, because their history doesn't allow them for that. And we should remind them all the time about it when they try to teach other nations how they should behave towards themselves and towards others. All the best. I wish you a nice day. Bye.